What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Sport Going. Today we're going to talk about how to play Nanami or Nanamek, an actually very simple character to play once you get her down, guys. And this is a character that really doesn't have as flashy as skills per se as other characters in the game. Might not be as beautiful, and that is completely subjective, as other characters in the game, but she makes up for it with her personality and, in all honesty, her power level too. She really is an insane character and a very fun character, at least in my humble opinion, to play, even though she is a bit clunky to play. But you're going to find, guys, when you're playing her in Pain Cage and you're playing her in Warzone, that's not really going to matter a whole lot. Now, when it comes to playing Nanami, guys, I mean, obviously having her 6-star weapon is going to be a big bonus because it does give you the fire resistance down. All these other things in the kit are really nice, but that fire resistance down is sweet. That makes her very, very powerful. Now, the character already has fire resistance down in her kit, but having this with what's along in her kit will make her even more powerful and just buff up your entire fire team. Now, this pet, guys, I actually got it to double S, and I haven't fully leveled up, so working on getting materials, but this pet is actually really, really nice. I don't want to go into too much detail about this thing, but it really will add, I mean, this is only at level 2, guys. This is going to go up even more. Adding that fire damage is going to be really, really nice. So having this pet is going to help tremendously, guys, especially like this passive here with the Firestar Shadow Guard, where Jet Jagger, that's the name of the pet, fires homing lasers alongside Nanami Starfarer when she enters slide mode. So whenever you're dodging, this thing will start taking effect, dealing 20% fire damage upon every hit. That is nice. And fire damage bonus will increase by 2% during rumbling mode, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. That is nice, guys. Like, that's a lot of extra damage, especially this increase to carrier damage, the increase to attack. I mean, the pet is really going to be a big bonus for Nanami. And this is the memory sets that you're going to run with her. You're just going to use this 4-piece set here that actually just buffs up Nanami, right? Whenever she does her QTE skill, will inflict Scorching Invasion that reduces the target's fire resistance by 15%, guys. So there's another 15% on top of the weapon if you have it, which would make it 30%. But she has more fire resistance down in her kit. And also, guys, whenever you're doing full resonance on her, you want to have class skill on the bottom slots like I do have here, and you just want to have attack on top. If you have attack and crit, that's fine. Even though she is a 100% fire character, she doesn't benefit from this crit. She'll only benefit from having attack. So as long as you have attack typing on these top slots and then your class skill on the bottom, you'll be good to go. And then 2 Eisna is going to be the way to go for this character for that extra elemental resistance down, which is going to stack on top of the fire resistance down that she has in her kit. Now, when it comes to Nanami, her red orbs are pretty cool, guys. I'm not going to get into reading all these details. We're just going to talk about the gameplay. So her red orbs do this big giant slash that actually has like a vacuum effect where it actually brings everybody in. This is something very, very useful for Warzone. It's actually really, really cool. And then her yellow orbs, she just shoots like a big old one shot, like a little big old missile out of her left hand, I think, which is pretty cool. And then her blue orbs actually shoot a barrage of missiles coming out of nowhere, and they target the opponent that's around them. It automatically targets them, and it's pretty damn cool. I gotta say, the homing missile is really, really wild. I do like it. And then her basic attacks are kind of sluggish, and you know, she just kind of slashes the chainsaw blade down and up at her opponents. But you'll find that her damage is actually very, very good, and the way that you play her, it's not going to matter a whole lot because you're mainly just going to be doing rumbling modes. So instead of going into like her basic attacks and how all of this works, how to go into rumbling mode and talking about all these things in her signature, right? We're just going to go straight and look at some gameplay that she has. But before we get into that gameplay, I do want to touch on like her leadership, which gives fire damage of all team members increased by 10%, and tank omni frame damage by 5%, which is great. And then also, whenever she's at double S, which every free-to-play player is going to be able to do, her Gigabyte Star Strike and leaves the trigger to missile support, firing 4 missiles every 3 seconds for 12 seconds and dealing 80% fire damage in total. So this is really, really nice. It adds a lot of extra damage. And then whenever Oops, Miss, Perfect, Burning Blow will come with the Scorching Invasion effect that reduces the enemy's fire resistance by 50%. So here you get another 15% fire resistance down whenever you take her to double S. So it's very, very important to take her to double S. And for you free-to-play players, this is going to be more than enough. And then at triple S, guys, her Starfire Scorching Invasion effect increased by 10%. So you get another 10% fire resistance down, and that's OP as hell. And then Burning Blow inflicts 25% more extra damage. Her signature increases damage by 25%. Her signature does a lot of damage. And then she also has a shield that pretty much makes her invincible. Triple S is like powerful stuff, powerhouse. I mean, that's what I'm going to be doing. But the gameplay that I'll end up showing you guys later on is just going to be double S. And then triple S plus, her damage recorded in Soul of Molten Steel increased to 100%, which really just insane for her damage. The max pressure increased to 9999. The rumbling mode grants 50 pressure every second. Oops, Miss Perfect grants 80 more pressure, which just means a lot more damage. So let me show you guys how to play her. She's actually really, really easy over here in the combat training, right? And I'll show you guys some things that are actually really, really cool about her, especially even having her pet. Now, whenever she does her red orbs, she does have super armor, but she doesn't have super armor in her yellow and blue orbs, only her red. All right. And whenever she does her rumbling mode, which we're going to talk about in a second, she also has super armor. So let me switch to Nanami, right? So we're just going to run through the orbs. So whenever you bring this girl in, guys, what you're trying to do essentially is you're just trying to fill this gauge up, right? And you just want to run through your orbs to fill up the gauge. So we just run through the orbs, right? We start doing our basic attacks. And once that gauge fills up, right, now we can use our signature. And once we use the signature, she'll do this big old slash, right? And this actually has like a vacuum effect, can bring opponents in. And then she'll stay like this as long as you want her to. Now, let me show you something that's really cool with her pet. So with her pet, whenever you hit the dodge and just hold it, right? Whenever you hit the dodge and hold it, she just starts shooting that thing out of nowhere, right? That pet just starts shooting and shooting and shooting, right? And obviously, the more dodge you have, the better, because then you can kind of go along a little closer. You gotta stay fairly close within the boss. I kind of got a little wonky there. You gotta stay fairly close to the opponent to keep that up. But that is really, really nice. Now, something you're gonna notice, guys, on the bottom of the screen is you got this little yellow gauge here. You got 3 yellow gauges, and then you have a little notch here. Let me get her flame out of the way. You got these little notches here. So what essentially you're doing is, this is what's called rumbling mode when you're in this mode. When you hit the signature one time and you're in this, then what you want to do is you want to hold her basic attack down, and you want to fill up this gauge to where it gets in between this notch and this notch. It gets in between these 2 notches. You want to do that twice, and you'll see this yellow gauge fill up. And then on the 3rd time, you're going to let it fill all the way up. It's going to trigger your QTEs, which is very important for your signature. And you just want to make sure you have 3 blocks lined up. You're trying to get to 200 points right here. So let me show you what we're doing here. So we're going to hold it, let it go, hold it, let it go, hold it, let it go. And then you can do the signature, and then you can apply your QTEs all at the same time, right? Which is nice, right? And then you just go right back in your kit. You just go right back and just start plowing through those orbs again and building up that gauge again. Now, whenever you're playing with her, you're more than likely going to be doing switch gameplay. So whenever you take her out and bring her back in, you can just start going into her signature almost immediately, at least from the gameplay that I've done so far. So again, we'll hit the signature. We're going to go into rumbling mode. All right, so now she's in rumbling mode. We're going to hold this down. 1, 2, and we're going to go full charge. And then there's the signature, and then there's the QTE, right? And it's going to be really, really important on that 3rd charge to fully charge it, so that way you get the QTE. So let me show you guys what happens when you don't fully charge the 3rd shot. For one, you're going to lose damage, guys, because you get a certain amount of recorded damage for each time that you do that. But you won't be able to trigger your QTE if you don't do this properly. So let me show you, right? So I'll do three fill-ups on that gauge, but I won't fill up fully on the 3rd time. It needs, on the 3rd time that you fill it, it needs to go all the way up in here in order to trigger those QTEs. So if I hold it once here, boom, boom, boom. And you see that my QTEs did not trigger, guys. They didn't trigger, right? You have to go all the way down now. And you see, once you fill that gauge all the way up, it's going to trigger your QTEs. And again, that is very, very important for damage. Whenever you do your QTEs, you might have a Da Vinci on one character, have some debuff memories on another character, and it's just going to allow you to do a whole lot more damage on top of the attack buffs from the Da Vinci set. So that's going to make a big difference in your gameplay. But, I mean, Nanami is really, really cool. You know, I mean, this moving around on the mech is so awesome, especially whenever she's, you know, using the pet. That is really, really cool. So that's really all there is to Nanami. I mean, whenever you drop her in, you're just gonna, go through your orbs. You're gonna build up your signature, do your signature. You're gonna hit rumbling mode. You're gonna build up that gauge twice between those two notches, and then on the third fill up, you're gonna go all the way up. You're going to trigger your QTE, you're going to hit your signature, apply your QTE characters, and then you're just going to do a bunch of damn damage. And that's pretty much all there is to it when it comes to playing with Nanami. She's really that easy to play with and really pretty freaking fun to play. She is a clunky character to play. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You are on a giant mech, but it's really funny to watch her running around on that thing. Like she sits on that thing. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's pretty damn funny. So I'm going to leave you guys with a special run that I did with Nanami, doing some parrying, man. That was really, really fun to do as well. So guys, let me know what you think about Nanamech. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GT+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See everybody. Take care.